I'm here to talk about how NHS Highland operates in collaboration with our National Procurement Service and what it means to us at health board level as opposed to the national level. So just to give you an idea of scale, again, in a similar way, NHS Highland is one of 14 territorial health boards, and it's large scale. Geography is one of our main issues in NHS Highland. We've got a lot of hard to reach places, a lot of hard to reach people, a lot of hard to reach communities. So it's quite a unique challenge for us to find the right supplies and services to the right people at the right time with those challenges. We've got highlands, islands, we've got really remote regions. We employ over 10,500 people in NHS Highland, so we're one of the biggest employers in the area, and I will come back to that as a point to do with community benefits later. We have operational frontline services provided through 2 health and social care partnerships, which is also relatively unique. So we have the Highland Health Social Care Partnership, which covers the same footprint as Highland Council. It's made up of 9 districts, and we're responsible for providing a wide range of acute care, emergency care, primary care, and community-based health and social care services. And our Argyll and Bute Health and Social Care Partnership covers the same area, unsurprisingly, as our Argyll and Bute Council. It manages, again, social care, acute and primary, community health and mental health services across the whole region. It also has quite a large SLA with NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde because of the geography, so we send a lot of our services out of region. The procurement department at NHS Highland delivers a comprehensive procurement service to all of those areas across Argyll and Bute and North Highland. So again, to give you an idea of spend, we've got over £300 million worth of core trade spend. This spend is broken down in some detail on our website if you're interested in going and having a look. We do publish it annually. We perform relatively well with SMEs and local spend. 32.6% of our spend is in the local region, and 53% is with SMEs across the UK usually. We would like to see that local spend increase, and that's why I think it's really important that we're represented at events such as this so that we can connect with all the people that are actually locally in our region providing services. Moving on to this category, so I have actually, I didn't really ask, but I've kind of covered all of the health boards that are represented, I suppose, in that northern sector. So as a combined purchasing power, we spend over 950 million a year across all of these health boards, and that, as explained earlier, is split between Category A contracts, which are placed at a national level, usually by the Scottish Government, and are common across the entire public sector. We've also got Cat B contracts that National will look after for us, that look after all the common procurement goods and services for the health sector in Scotland. And then we have a significant amount of Category C spend. Now, again, in the Highland region, that is a really important chunk of our spend. Because of our geography, we do actually find that even where sometimes Category A and Category B frameworks exist, we still have to take a Category C option, just because we need to find those niche local suppliers that can get to our spaces and get to our communities to deliver those services, and we can only do that through local tendering. So that's really just to talk about the landscape generally. This slide is purposely busy. I'm not expecting you to read it all. You can come back and read that later. But really it was just to point out that on this kind of like whole landscape of what a local procurement function does within a health board, there's one box down there, I think it's third column in, fourth row down, which is competing and awarding contracts and frameworks. The rest of it is everything else. And this includes influencing the centres of expertise about their contracting plans. What do we need from national contracts? What do we need them to tender on our behalf? Where can we work collaborative with other health boards? We also look at the sustainability issues and how can we build community wealth elements into our own tendering to benefit our local communities, which actually 9 times out of 10 is our own staff and patients. Our staff form a huge part of our community, and we want them to live well and have their well-being taken into account with everything that we do in the local area. So just to pull out a few of these key points. So we are quite unique in our activities in that we are both inward and outward facing as a procurement team. So we get a lot of interaction with internal stakeholders, but also with our own markets and communities. So we support national and regional objectives through our procurement exercises. We manage relationships between the public body, which is us, and the external marketplace. So we're that kind of signposting element into the health board for contracting purposes. We help our customers internally to determine what their requirements actually are and write good quality specifications and look at lot structures and things like that. How can we put our requirements out to market to get the best possible outcome from the supplier base that we've got? We also work in collaboration with National Procurement, as I say, to share what our needs are and also cascade national strategies and policies out into our own health boards. And then as the last bit of that, we also try to secure proportionate contract management approaches to all of our agreements. We don't want things to be onerous, but we need to manage risk and we need to manage performance and we need to get value for money. So our key element there is to make it proportional. It's not a one-size-fits-all. You will have seen a lot about this. The next two slides really are signposting opportunities. So we've got the supplier journey. We also have a procurement journey, which is the reverse of this. It's a mirror image for us and it's what we follow. It's provided by the Scottish Government and you should find everything that you need to guide you through the tendering process, what is expected in the public sector at a national level and what we need from you. So I would absolutely recommend that the supplier journey is a place to start if you're going to start preparing to do business with NHS boards. So we follow the procurement journey. If you're following the supplier journey, we should meet somewhere in the middle, which will work really well for us. Also as well, we've talked a lot about Public Contract Scotland today. So this is really where you're going to get a lot of the very specific information at board and, well, not just board level, but all public sector organisations that are contracting in Scotland. So by registering on Public Contract Scotland, which we can help you to do, Supplier Development Programme can help you to do, National Procurement can help you to do, you'll get access basically to all the specific organisational information. So we publish contract registers, you can see our contract life cycles, when things are coming up for re-tender, who our current suppliers are, and also you can access spend information. The key thing, I think, with Public Contract Scotland is that you have to maintain it. You have to keep it current. It's your, I suppose, it's your marketplace as well. You need to make sure that you're registered with all the right categories ticked so that the information comes to the right inbox at the right time and you don't miss those opportunities to interact. It requires a bit of maintenance, but I think also what's equally important is that you do some preparation in the background about what do I have to consider? How can I make sure that when that requirement does land in my inbox, I am fully prepared to respond to that requirement and I know what the organisation wants in response. So NHS Highland will be looking for things like a good solid response on community benefits and wealth building and an understanding of our own strategies, our board strategies and our procurement strategies. How can you align yourself with those requirements? Do all that prep in advance and it'll make the tendering process so much easier. So what we would like to see on PCS from suppliers is we want you to include commentary about your organisation, get all the right keywords in there so we can fully understand what it is that you do and how it is that you can add benefit to NHS Highland. We also need you to delete incorrect information. Take out email addresses of people that have left. Use generic email addresses where you can so that you've got cover for sickness and various absences, because otherwise you will miss it. Some of them are really quick. You might get 14 days to respond to a mini competition, for example. You need to make sure that gets picked up in your absence. And then finally, on the sustainable procurement side of things, NHS Highland has recently adopted something called the Sustained Supply Chain Code of Conduct. Its origins are actually in the higher education sector. It's an APUC-led activity initially, but we found it was a really useful code of conduct for us to adopt, why wouldn't you? It covers things like the expectations that suppliers won't use slave labour, that they'll allow collective bargaining, all those good things that suppliers should be doing that sit outside terms and conditions. So we've now adopted that. I don't know whether any other health boards have yet, actually. We might actually be the first one that's formally adopted it. And what that allows us to do is have a minimum standard for all new suppliers going forward, not only to operate with our terms and conditions, but also to adopt the supply chain code of conduct and live by the same kind of principles that we live by in our own supply chains. And we really need to eliminate poor behaviour across all supply chains. So again, it's just another example of how you can do that advanced work to align yourself, make sure you've got the policies and the practices in place in advance before we come and ask you in a competitive situation to then go finding all this information. Prep in advance, and it should make the whole process far easier. I'm going to do a final word on community benefits, just because it is a focus of ours at the moment. So when it comes to tendering directly with health boards, National Procurement will, obviously they've delivered the gateway, that's brilliant. We need to use it. So the tool is there. It's only as good as the input and the outputs that we get from it. So we've launched a really big kind of communication and engagement programme, firstly with our own workforce as members of our community, to get more request traffic into that gateway for our region. As you probably saw on there, we've not had that much throughput from Highland. We've got some community benefits outside of that gateway, but we need to get more through the gateway, and we need to start matching up these suppliers and our communities. So our own members of staff have been given a very specific call to action to start getting all those parent-teacher associations, sports clubs, charities that they're involved in outside of their work, to put some requests in for our region to give our suppliers something to respond to. So hopefully we'll start to see the traffic on that within the Highland region ramp up significantly over the next few months, and we'll be keeping an eye out. But we need our suppliers' help to do that, so we need you to engage with that process to make it worthwhile.